Why did the ancient Greeks glorify the Hyperboreans of the far north and their culture? One of the things we recently found out was concerning Alexander the Great. He supposedly had a very important weapon that he used that came to him, to his possession, brought to him from Hyperborea. We know that the Atlanteans were in Hyperborea, meaning the Arctic, as opposed to Hypernautia, which is Nautia meaning south, Voria in Greek means north. So the Atlanteans were in the north. The ancient Greeks were also in the upper north. Plato has texts and records of ancient Greeks being in the area of white wolves. And the only area of the world that has white wolves is in the Arctic. Now here we have a copy of the secret weapon, the lightning rod of Zeus. This is a copy of what Alexander the Great had in his possession that was brought to him by Greeks from Hyperborea. This is a copy of it. The copy of this is found in a monastery, a Buddhist monastery in Nepal. And I guess that they somehow found that they had a copy of it from the time of Alexander the Great. This was supposedly emitting some kind of laser beams, and it was brought to Alexander the Great from Hyperborea, the north, the Arctic regions. He supposedly had gone to the edges of China, to the coast of China facing Japan, and he had erected, his men had erected a column there engraved with a message saying that King Alexander had arrived up to that point and that he had safely hidden away the ancient weapon, the lightning rod of Zeus that was brought to him from Hyperborea. So it again seems that there must have been advanced technology there. We know that from the emerald tablets written by Thoth the Atlantean, some Atlanteans escaped the destruction of Atlantis and had gone to establish cities in various parts of the world. They had knowledge of flight, they had space travel, they had time travel, and even dwelt with the interdimensional entities, and that was not to be done. That was something that they were obviously chastised for. And it seems that the Greeks had a tremendous amount of respect for the Hyperboreans and their technology. So were these ancient cultures more significant than ours of today? Today's technological culture is not necessarily more advanced than our ancient cultures were. We read many a time of ancient cultures that had developed greater cultures than we have today. For example, those of the ancient Greeks of Hyperborea. Now, some don't believe this, but higher civilizations does not mean compulsively superior technologically, at least not in today's form of technology. We consider technology superior, we consider culture superior, and only because we did not live in a different culture with completely different systems of thought. Now, after all, technology does not just mean dominance over the form of energy in the way we know of today. Other areas, now we don't have, for example, in our knowledge today, in our technology, the knowledge of how to delve with anti-gravity, or how to control weather and manipulation of weather. Now we know, for example, in the ancient cultures, in ancient Greece, for example, there are many little mountains or hills that have constructed pyramids over them. And they have found that these pyramids were built on top of mountains in order to cause cloud formations over these areas. And the cloud formations would then rain in this area or bring more moisture. And that moisture was then trickled down through ceramic pipes that would give clean water to the towns below for tens of thousands of liters per day, much more than the populations of these villages needed on a daily basis. So we see that they were using their knowledge of construction and weather in order to have plentiful clean water. Now, that was one example of not controlling the weather, but using it in such a way that they would benefit for resources. Now, we don't believe that our technology is the last one, the more advanced than the ancients. The Peruvians, for example, had developed a civilization and a character that many of us would consider magical. Now we have the philosophers, the Neoplatonist philosopher Iamblichus and others, names being Herodotus and Pindar, and others who wrote that the Hyperboreans, not only were they righteous and humble, but very advanced, and very advanced spiritually as well, to the point that they were beyond material levels. They were also beyond the material realm, and they had knowledge of how to regenerate their beings and to control and to somehow heal their illnesses. Now, with their knowledge, their advanced knowledge of these things, they were highly esteemed, and they lived in utter social harmony. There was something else that they had in Hyperborea. It was something that was called avari, meaning avaros, meaning without weight. In other words, anti-gravity. Now, this entity, avaros, was an entity, a person, who came flying, because he had no weight. He came flying on something that was like an arrow, and taught Pythagoras, and then he would leave and go to other areas of the world in order to heal those that were ill, those that had infirmities. So this is translated from a Greek article having to do with the ancient Greeks and how they viewed the Hyperboreans, how they respected and admired their ethos, their morals, their culture, and their tremendous advanced technology. And from what we posted a few days ago having to do with Alexander the Great and the lightning rod of Zeus, that came from the Hyperborea, and obviously it was one of the examples of their advanced technology. And that copy of that instrument, that mechanical artifact, The copy of it is found in a Buddhist monastery in Nepal. A copy of what Alexander the Great had hidden very well away from human eyes. And we don't know if the actual original was ever found, and we assume it's still buried. This is on Diadrastika. I'll leave a link below for you for this. If you'd like to join me on my Patreon account, you will hear content not covered by mainstream media. These riveting stories will be based on my research, and I will state my opinions and give my personal insight on diverse and controversial subjects and world events not covered by mainstream media, and not supported by YouTube guidelines. So whatever I have on my Patreon, most of those will not be on my YouTube channel. Please consider becoming a member today. More of the most significant and important videos will be on my Patreon channel. Your support helps me to continue my research and keeps this YouTube channel alive. And we depend on your support, your generous charity, because we help economically challenged families here in Athens, Greece, in Kapota, and we also help the young generation with university tuition and the community around our church. Thank you.